In lesson 1 we're going to show you how to set up the initial framework for your project. We're going to use the project builder to do this. The first task we have to do is to set up our initial working days, etc. in the new year. So I'm going to set the 3rd of January as a non-work day. Then we're going to move on to the February holidays that's coming up, including the royal wedding one on the 29th of January. And we'll set up the May bank holidays. I'm not going to go any further than that because the project that we're going to set up is going to last no longer than beyond this sort of time scale that we're talking. But you should set up a complete calendar year. We're going to give it a name. And a start date. We're going to create some tasks. The first task is going to be substructure. These will be later subdivided up into the individual tasks to create the substructure. But I'm going to put an initial time assessment of 20 days in there. Then the next task is going to be superstructure with an initial time assessment of 40 days. And then finally we'll have internal fitting out with a task time of 25 days. I'm not going to do any specifying of the sequences yet. We will be doing that later using the linking feature. We now need to create some resources to actually do the tasks. So the first one is going to be a labourer. And I've got one of them. Again, all this stuff can be modified later, as you'll see, and it will be necessary to modify them, but it's just a little bit of an initial setting up. You could, of course, create individual people's names and allocate them to the tasks, but I'm going to use a more generic method to do that on this occasion. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. I should have clicked create the resource. And then we'll have a ground worker. And a bricklayer. So there's some initial tradesmen that's going to be using to do the substructure. I'll be creating the joiner and that sort of stuff later on. I'm going to leave this step now. We'll be doing all that stuff later. I will be doing this task list later as well. And again, I'm going to ignore this particular part of it because this is going to set it up with the default settings. And then I'm going to click Finish. So that's how you use the project builder to do some initial setting up, and we'll be filling a lot more of the detail in as we are going along.